What's up, YouTube? This your boy D Wayne, bring you another video at this time. So basically, I want to give you a deck profile on Dueling Network for the new archetype that came out in the Legacy of Valiant, which is the Sylvan monsters. Basically, Sylvan monsters have the various effects of excavating cards from the deck to the graveyard, and basically they're allowed to stack their decks so that you can get the right cards to excavate and get various effects that go off, which gives it a lot of potential. And since they're all plants, they work well with Lone Fire Blossom and Dandelion. So you can search out with Lone Fire from the deck, and cards have some of these cards have effects when they're special summoned to the field, namely Peacekeeper that allows you to get an escapade when he's special summoned. And basically stuff like that. Miracle Fertilizer. Alright, so let's basically get into the deck profile, of course. What we have first is Sylvan Hermitry. Basically the big boy 27, level 8. Once per turn, you can excavate the top card of your deck, and if there's a plant type monster, send it to the graveyard. If you do, draw one card, otherwise place it on the bottom of your deck. If this card is excavated from the deck and sent to the graveyard, look at the other 3 cards from the top of your deck, then place them on the top of the deck in any order. Like I said, stacking your deck. Stacking your deck. And he gives you a bit of draw power too when you excavate a plant type. So that gives you a little bit of extra advantage on top of field advantage of him being 27. So he's pretty good. So I run him at 3. Secondly, we have 3 Sylvan Blade Fender. He's the TCG exclusive of Legacy of Valiant, along with a couple of others. Basically, when this destroys a monster by battle, sends to the graveyard, you can excavate the top card in your deck. If there's a plant type monster, send to the graveyard, otherwise place it on the bottom of the deck. This card is excavated from the deck and sent to the graveyard. You can add this card from your graveyard to your hand. So basically, it can monster reincarnate himself. So when he's excavated, it's like activating a monster reincarnation without discarding a card or anything, because he just returns to the hand, which is pretty cool. So you can basically use and destroy monsters and excavate cards and stuff to get their effects off, which is pretty cool. And he's a nice 19 bit on top of it, so he's cool. Alright, next we have Sylvan Flower Knight, 18 beta. When this card is normal summon, excavate the top card of your deck. If there's a plant, send it to the graveyard, otherwise place it at the bottom of the deck. When this card is excavated from the deck sent to the graveyard, you can choose one Sylvan card from your deck and place it on top of your deck. So basically, when he's normal summoned, you get that excavation. Any card would actually benefit you from being excavated from the grave via his effect or Blade Fender's effect. All of them will allow you to benefit from it. Peas probably is pretty good too when I get to it, but yeah, so he's actually pretty good. Nice summon and excavate. He's probably a little better than Blade Fender because you get to excavate on summon, and Blade Fender has to kill something in order to get his effect off, which means it'll be harder because if you run a decks with heavy back row, and of course they're not going to let you get his effect through so you can excavate stuff. So this is a little better because you can get it on its summoning. Alright, moving on. Next, 2 Sylvan Marshly. Probably one of the best cards in the deck, as essentially effect is when he's normal summon, you can choose either 1 or 2, then excavate that many cards from the top of your deck. Send any excavated plant type monster to the graveyard and place other cards on the bottom of the deck in any order. This card is excavated from the deck and sent to the graveyard. You can target one monster on the field and destroy that target, which is pretty good. And with the field spell and whatever monsters the opponent has on the field during the end phase, you can excavate this if this in your graveyard and you can destroy that monster. Also with other effects, you get to excavate this and destroy monsters on the field and stuff. So good piece of support for the Sylvans. Alright, next we have Cool Mushroombo. Cool Mushroombo. It's a funny name. Alright. Pretty good. Nice defense. 2000 defender. Let's go into its effect. When this card is flipped face up, you can choose a number from 1 to 5. Then excavate that many cards from the top of your deck. Send any excavated plant type monsters to your graveyard. Also place any other cards on the bottom of the deck in any order. This card is excavated from the deck and sent to the graveyard by card effect. You can target one spell or trap card on the field and destroy that target. Very solid first effect. Because basically you can when he's split face up, he basically has 2000 defense. So if he's getting attacked, you can, the monster has less than 2000 attack, of course. You inflict a little bit of damage, and you get the effect to excavate. So any plant that can be excavated will obviously get their effects to go off as well. And when he's excavated, you can pop a spell and trap card on the field. So Cool Mushroombo and Marshall Leaf are basically the bear and gorilla of the deck. That's there's a pretty good comparison between the two. One is for monsters, obviously, and one is for spell and traps. So those cards are basically essential for the deck to clear out threats and stuff. So, alright, so that's pretty good. So next, we're gonna go into Sylvan Peacekeeper. When this card is normal or special summon, you can excavate the top card in your deck, visit plant types, into the graveyard. Otherwise, place it on the top bottom of the deck. This card is excavated. And from the deck, it's into the graveyard. You can target one level 4 monster in your graveyard, level 4 or lower plant type monster, and special summon that target. You can only use the effect once per turn. Which is actually pretty cool. You can summon basically anything except Hermit-Tree, of course, from the graveyard. So basically, if this is excavated, you can, if Lone Fire is already in your graveyard, you can special summon that Lone Fire. Use Lone Fire's effect to get Hermit-Tree from the deck, which is pretty cool. Or you can actually special summon himself back from the grave with his own effect. Rather, if you have more than one in the graveyard, you can special summon another one. And then his effect on the field will activate because he was special summoned, and he gets to excavate another card. So it actually is a good little combo when you run more than one of these. So pretty cool. You get the excavate effect, and you get his field effect when he's in the grave. You have more than one of these in the grave, so that's pretty good. Alright, next we have obviously 2 Lone Flyer Blossoms, probably the most important card in the deck, as it searches for any of the other plant type monsters in your deck. Not much more to say about that. You can use your Lone Fire, special summon all of these plants in the deck. Even the Dandelion can be special summoned by a Lone Fire Blossom. Alright, then you have obviously Dandelion, of course. Good in this deck too, because when he's obviously, even if he's excavated, it doesn't matter how you go to the graveyard through their effects, you still get your 2 tokens off. So why not have him in there and use those 2 tokens as a tribute for Hermit-Tree on your next turn if you want to. However you want to work that, you can work that. Alright, next we have Miracle Fertilizer. Basically, special summoning for plants. That's a continuous. Let's read it out. Target one turn, target one plant monster in your graveyard, special summon a target. You can't normal summon a set during the turn you special summon with that effect, even if this card leaves the field. The monster special summon by this effect leaves the field, destroy this card. So basically that says if you monster leaves the field, this card goes to the graveyard. But it doesn't say if the monster is used as exceed material. So basically, once you exceed with any of these cards that were special summoned by this effect, this card stays on the field. So then you can use its effect on the next turn, which is awesome. So that's nice little potential for it. And you can basically summon any of your plants. So got your Hermit-Tree in the graveyard, special summon that. Any of these, it doesn't matter. Alright, so basically staples now. We got 3 space, 1 dark hole, 1 smashing ground. Next we have Mount Sylvania. This is the field spell for them. Basically, you can send one plant type monster from your hand or face up on your side of the field to the graveyard. Choose one sylvan card from your deck and place it on top of your deck. You can only use the effect once per turn. Once per turn during the end phase, you can excavate the top card of your deck. If it's a plant type monster, send it to the graveyard. Otherwise, place it either at the top or at the bottom of your deck. Great potential. So basically, you can a lot of things you can do with that. You can if you have a hermit tree in your hand, send that to the graveyard. Place either a marshal leaf or a mushroom to the top of the deck, and basically during your opponent's end phase, whatever they have out on a field, whether it be spell, trap, or monster, you can excavate during the end phase and destroy either one of those things, depending on which one you send to the graveyard. So, which is pretty awesome. Or you can use it for any of the other ones. If you want Blade Fender to your hand, you can just excavate him. If you want something, another card stacked, you can just excavate the Flower Knight. If you want the special summoning from Peacekeeper, excavate the Peacekeeper. You know, it helps. It helps the deck definitely move around. So it's a pretty good field spell for them. Next, we have One Foolish Burial to get the Hermit Trees to the grave, of course, for special summoning with Micro Fertilizer or Sylvan Blessing, which I will get into. Alright, so we have two Wall of Thorns, Mirror Force for plants, basically. Plant type monster target for attack, destroy all attack position monster your opponent controls. So basically, we have four Mirror Forces essentially in this deck. So there's honestly no reason why your opponent is even getting through with attacks. But you don't always have these cards, so it happens. Next, we have one Bottomless, one Compulse, two Fiendish, two Mirror Force, two Deep Prisons, and two more of the new cards. Sylvan's Blessing. Let's read out this effect. Place one card from your hand on either the top or bottom of the deck, and if you do, special summon one Sylvan monster from your hand or graveyard. It is unaffected by other effects this turn, and place it either at the top or bottom of the deck during the end phase, which is actually pretty cool. Basically, best case scenario, you have Hermitry, Marshall Leaf, and the field spell out. You can activate the field spell effect, send Marshall Leaf to the top of the deck. Rather, send Hermitry to the graveyard and put Marshall Leaf at the top of the deck. Activate this trap. Send, doesn't even matter. You can send Blade Fender to the grave. I'm getting confused by stuff. It's terrible. You can send Blade Fender to the top of the deck, and then special summon Hermitry from the graveyard. Have Hermitry's effect activate, sending Blade Fender, excavating him, get Blade Fender to the hand, and then making moves from there. So it's actually a lot of potential with the card. So it definitely helps also to move around just like the field spell does. So yeah, so that's basically the deck. It's pretty interesting deck. I took all of probably the day before yesterday play testing the deck against other people and stuff, and while incomplete because we obviously have more support coming in the private origin stuff, it's actually it's pretty fun to play. It's a lot different from playing Bujins or Evil Swarms or anything that's considered meta these days. So I'm like, alright, I like different. No lie, I like things that are new and gives you actually some strategy involved. There's a lot of strategy involved in this deck to stack and get the right effects off, and then do stuff in order to win. So it's not an easy win condition with this deck. So that's basically the deck. Let's go into the side deck. Basically, another Miracle Fertilizer if I need it, another Wall of Thorns, Smashing Ground, Book of Moon. I was testing Lord Poison, which allows you to special summon from the graveyard if he's destroyed by battle. It's okay, I guess. A little slow because you have to rely on your opponent, of course. Or you can just, on your turn, just smack into a monster and then special summon from there. Otherwise, it's pretty cool. Alright, extra deck. The new Sylvan XZ. SI Sylvan High Protector. 2 level 8 monsters. Once per turn, you can declare one card name, excavate the top card of your deck, and if it's a declared card, add it to your hand. Otherwise, send it to the graveyard. If a card is sent from the deck to the graveyard by a card effect, except during a damage step, you can detach one material from this card and target one card on the field. Place it either on the top or the bottom of the deck. You can use this effect once per turn. So basically, when he's on the field and basically any of the other effects go off, I'm assuming including its own, you can place a card from the field to the top or bottom of the deck. That includes the opponent's monsters or spell and trap as well. So basically, if you have a threat, the opponent's threatening you with a very powerful monster, you can use this effect and basically send it to the top or bottom of the deck. And if it's a Z or whatever cards from the extra deck, you just send it back to the extra deck and do damage from there. So it's a pretty okay card. I don't know. Not something I really would go into. Maybe if it had higher attack, I'd probably use it more. But otherwise, it has pretty decent defense, 23 and 32. That's about it, really. Next, we run 3 black chip corns. Why not? It's a plant type, and you have level 4s to use to go into it. And probably the best option for the deck would be Diagusto Emerald, because basically, obviously, it allows you to recycle those, any of your Sylvans and stuff to put back into the deck and draw one card. So being able to use your resources again is always a pretty good addition to the deck. So that's basically it. Pretty good deck. It's an interesting deck. I look forward to the support that is going to come from the Prime Origin, and I'll probably make this deck in real life too. So see, that's about it. Well, I'll basically leave it at that. So I'll be bringing you more videos in the meantime. But until then, pieces, YouTube.